Hey guys, Andre Reckless here, and it's been a while, but I recently come across a game that I really got into, so I figured I'd make a video about it. This is called Banished. It's a little game I found on the internet. It's $20 from Shining Rock Software, which you can get through Steam, and it's very similar to Age of Empires or Civilization, or one of my favorites was Star Wars Galactic Battleground. I guess you could call it a real-time strategy game. There might be some other names for it, but it's very similar. But this is, as with those games, you focused a lot on the fighting aspect. This is more of just the raising the civilization aspect. There's no enemies here. It's just you and the elements, I guess, and it's a good game for it's a nice relaxing game, but it is frustrating. It's a lot of numbers, a lot of logistics and supply and demand kind of thing. It's a good strategy game. I've been addicted to this thing. I don't know why, but time just flies when I'm on here, and so I figured I'd show you guys. Maybe some of you will like it. And let's check it out. So in the background you'll see, actually that's one of my my areas that I started, but I'm gonna start a new map because this one's actually failing, and it starts off pretty easy, but it gets harder as your population grows. So we'll start this off. Town name, we'll just name this just gonna name this Recklessville. Alright. We're gonna go with valleys. We're gonna go with terrain size. We're gonna go with large, just so we have the option to increase. Climate mild, disasters off, and starting conditions. I think I'm gonna go with medium. I started this off with easy before, and don't be fooled. No matter how you start off, the game does get hard. So let's start off with, and I suggest you go through the tutorial if you do start this, but alright, let's start this now. Alright, so this is it. Those are all your people. Right off the bat, throw some maps up here. So, usually put this in the corner. The event log, and this is it. Alright, Recklessville. We got early spring, year 1, 10 grown-ups, 8 adults. 10 adults, 8 children. And the temperature is not really important because it varies. But yeah, the goal for the first year at least is to get ready for the wintertime. Wintertime is when, if you're not prepared, it can really hurt you. So here's our supplies. We got logs, which are used for building materials and other resources, but we got stone, iron, firewood, which is how you keep your house warm, coal, which is another method of keeping your house warm, but it also can help you make tools. You got your tools here, you got your clothes, you got your herbs, which are used for like medicine. In relation to build a hospital, I don't know if you need a hospital to use herbs, but when I collect herbs, they don't really get used that much. And you have your food, very important, your food, and your ale. You gotta have the beer, keeps everybody happy. That's something later in the game. You really don't have to worry about that right now. As you can see, health of the citizens, perfect, and happiness, perfect. They just got there. They don't know what's in store, so everybody's happy. And then you have your storage barn, your stockpile here. And that's almost full. That's good. Storage barn. This is where you just put raw resources, trees, logs, iron, firewood, stone. That's pretty much all you're ever gonna have in a stockpile. And then this is for everything else, everything that you make and all the food you collect, as well as anything from your animals, wool, leather. It all goes into your storage barn. You want to make sure you have both of these. These come important. But for right now, let me see. Keep the speed at, pause this real quick. And zoom out. I typically like to play all the way or almost zoomed out. The game's beautiful if you zoom in like this. It's very cool. A lot of texture and detail, but you see the most like this. So let's just take a look. I think we have a map here. Oops. Where was that? Right? No? Yeah, okay. And so we got a big lake here, which is good. You're gonna use this for fishing. And it looks like this is where your traders come through. You can trade, which is very important. It's very hard to get everything yourself. Some things are easier to get, like food, than other things like iron later on in the game. So definitely want to trade up for those. Another big pond thing over here. This is actually doesn't look like a bad area to expand. It's a little difficult with that mountain area right there, but alright, let's just work with what we got. I think they typically throw you in the middle of the map anyways, so alright. First things first, we need let's see, we need some homes. We'll start off with like 4 homes. And stone homes are better, but for resource sake, actually, let's go with some stone homes right now. All right, boom. Change the house of the style of the house with the F button there. So there we go. Just gonna build 3 homes back to back. Then here's your professions. Right now we need 6 builders, and have 11 people. 5 of them are laborers, 6 of them are builders. And when you stick somebody in a profession, the game does a very good job of, if they're not doing that profession, they just become labor. So even if we have 6 builders, once they're done building, they'll become laborers. And if I tell them to chop down a tree or collect something, they'll do that, which is fine. Gian, very weird names in the game. I get a kick out of trying to pronounce them sometimes. But Gian, as a child, I had 8 children. Now as an adult, keep an eye on this. You definitely want to keep an eye on the adult-children ratio. I like to have anywhere from 1/3 to 1/4 of my population as children, just to pretty much ensure a future. Because all these adults are actually going to start getting old and dying off around the same time. And you can see a very big dip in population like that. So you want to keep that in check. Alright, so they built 1 house. And we'll get into the houses later. Probably make another video. The game's very complicated. I learned a lot. I would say don't read the forums. I know with a game like this you want to get as much information, but I learned a lot just by playing in it. There's a couple questions I had. I did go on forums later on after my first 2 failed civilizations, but you want to get the most out of the game by just playing it, having fun, figuring things out, using some common sense. You know, houses have 8 spaces, so right now we're good for 24 people, but there's families. So as you see, there's 2 people, male and a female, have 2 kids. Yes, the 10-year-old is considered an adult. They're only kids for a couple years. As soon as they're capable, they're put to work. Unless you have a school, then they go to school for a while, I think till they're in their teens, and then they become adults. Very much like today's society. But I guess back in the old days, if you could work, you work. So so there's that. And we're gonna want food. I'm gonna build a fishing port here. Right about there. Alright. Get some fishermen there. And build a We're gonna put a hunter. Strategy I use right off the bat is hunter, gatherer, forester, and herbist. Gatherer's hut. Put that over here. Put over a little push. Alright. Alright, and there's this guy. Forester Lodge. Oh shit. And we ran out of resources. So you know, I usually start it in the springtime. Now so we're just gonna move some resources right away. Boom. Just crank up the speed. Let's do this. We need some logs, we need some firewood for the that's why they stopped the house. I was wondering why they didn't build a house. They were out of resources. There's a lot of things to pay attention. Couple of reasons my civilizations has failed is because not paying attention. One, I introduced nomads. Once you build a town hall, you can have nomads come, which is just wandering people, and it's a great way to increase population, but they brought disease with them. And I did not have any hospitals, wasn't prepared, spread through the whole thing. People started dying like crazy. By the time I built the hospital and got everything under control, you know, a third of my, or 3/4 of my population were dead. It was basically like starting from the beginning, but even harder, because you can actually control the growth if you control the size of the houses. You know, if I keep it 3, it's not going to grow that much. If I add 20 houses off the bat, there's going to be tons of kids, and they need food, they need firewood, and all that. And if you don't have enough people to take care of all the kids and themselves, and you don't have educated workers, and you don't have the right tools, it could be very difficult, and it can get out of hand. So I would say my pro tip would be move slow. There's no rush in the game. I guess the goal of the game is just to have as big as a self-sustaining civilization as you could, as you can, and that's pretty much what I aim for when I play. I think the most I ever got to was about 400 citizens, and then they all just pretty much died. I think I went down to like 100 or less. And that was because I built too fast, spread it out too far, and the game has a weird mechanic of where people live and work and travel to, and I had people living on one side of the map traveling to the other side of the map. It was too far, and they were starving, freezing, and a lot of people died like that just by expanding my civilization. So I actually made that mistake with the last map I had, and I'll show you that one later in another video, but we're just gonna try to make it through the first winter. It's already late summer, and you see them now. I find if you have them removing resources and then you tell them to do something else, like now I have 4 builders, right? And they are building, but if I would tell them to start building another something, they're probably not going to do it until these resources are done, or it's not going to get done as fast as it would if the labor is held. So I would say do one thing at a time. Remove the trees, then plan on building something. Or if you want something built, like this fishing thing's taking a while. We got all the houses built. Still have 8 people homeless, so let me build another house. I'm just gonna build a wood house because I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot of resources. I don't want to deplete my resources just yet. stove. Some firewood. And there is stone here, so they will get the stone. I'm gonna put one worker for the food just for now. And just two workers, so we get some food over here. And oh, you know what? I don't want them. They pretty much already used others. Ah, crap. Alright, that's where our resources went. Totally forgot they had a house there. Shit. Gatherer's hut and the hunting cabin. Forgot. Later I'm going to add a forester lodge, and what that does is you can plant and cut trees. But a little tip I found is that if you just plant the trees, it becomes a really dense forest, and you actually hunt more animals, and you gather more wild gatherings. I don't know, there's onions, berries, roots, stuff like that, mushrooms. I think those are the main four. But yeah, you want a dense forest, and you can actually make a dense forest. So eventually this is all going to be cut down. This is all going to be hustle and bustle, city life, whatever, houses, farms, cattle. But I probably will keep this area as just a circle of dense forest. And then as you grow, you definitely want one or two of those areas set. Plant some houses there, or not plant, build some houses there, so they don't have to work that or walk that far. And then you also want to have a market, and I find that the market is probably my most valuable resource. And I say that because it just takes a lot of work away from the typical laborers. Now these people in the house, they have inventories, right? Now, this guy has 46 firewood, 155 potatoes, and depending on how educated they are, they carry all that themselves. They only carry a certain amount though. I'm just gonna guess it's like probably 40, 30, 40, somewhere. It's not a lot. If you click on the people, you'll see their inventory. They only carry so much. Like, we'll follow this guy. Shit, it's turning winter already. We still have 8 homeless people, so we might die off a little bit. Oh well, it happens. Really wasn't paying attention with all the talking. How's this guy doing? He must be a builder, yeah. He's building, and I don't know what's going on. But alright. We're almost done with this. And already we got a cold person. Oh no, they went away. Alright. 3 more people in there. They know this. One hunter, one gatherer, one fisherman. Food, because we are already out of food. Really? Ah, shit. Alright, I'm not doing so well on this one. Alright, so we got hungry and cold people. This is an example of why I started on easy. I would suggest starting on easy, because get a little difficult. And, I find families typically have 1 or 2 people. So if you want a good idea of how many houses you should have, just divide the adults by 2. So I should have like 7.5 houses, 8 houses. I only have 5. But nobody died. And some children were born. Nobody's, well, 1 person starving. The house doesn't have food, but the people in it aren't hungry. If the people are hungry, you see a little thing up here saying they're hungry. Yeah. So almost done with our first winter here. We have oh, and another thing. Oh, I completely forgot about this. Roads. Dirt roads are free. Put them. place them there. They work wonders. Oh my god. Put one over here. And maybe like one going all the way over here. There you go. So if these guys want to walk, they do travel fast on a dirt road. There's no resources. Just a builder to build them real quick. It's easy. But stone roads are your best. I suggest you have your town riddled with stone roads when you can. They still cut through the woods. They won't use the roads all the time, but when they do use the roads, they will walk faster. It just makes things that much better. The sooner you get them in there, the more they're used, the better off you are. Efficiency is pretty much the name of the game. You want them to be as efficient as possible. So, so to do that, you need the right tools, the right clothes, the right roads, the right setups, locations, and all that. Right away, we're going to build a pasture. I like pastures. They get a lot of food, and as well as food, you get other resources too. So I would suggest building a pasture. And we are going to do a huge pasture. Not fasting, it's not religious. Alright. It's not the biggest. The biggest is 20 by 20. We're going to use this because you get a lot of resources. And shit. And I would suggest you have the resources before you start building something. Alright, and don't worry, stockpiles are free. So I'm actually gonna put like a stockpile over here. Because after they're done clearing this out, I want them to clear this area out. So I'm just gonna have them clear this area out. And you can see how much planting. There's not a lot of trees here until I get a forester here, so it's gotta be pretty good on venison. And per person, you're gonna get around 200 to sometimes 500, 600, 700. I've even seen per person. That all depends on the location. For example, fishing docks, you get more fish with the more water that's around them. So I mean, if I could build a fishing dock here, that'd be perfect, but it's hard with this mountain area right here. But if I built 2 fishing docks, then they're going to share the amount of water and they're actually going to make less. The same thing with like crops. If you have a large farm and you have 4 people farming, you probably get more efficiency out of like 2 people. So you get more food faster with 4 people. It gives you something to do with those people. But alright, just gonna build this farm real quick. Oh, and the most important, which I can't believe I forgot, a wood cutter. You need a guy to cut the wood, and it's gonna be our wood cutter. That's gonna be the guy taking the wood, cutting it for logs, which we use to warm the houses, and important. And if you're curious, I think for winter it takes like 25 logs per house, and the stone houses use a third less. So these 3 houses right here use the same amount of wood as one of these houses. So if you're having trouble with keeping, getting enough firewood, and you're wondering what's happening to it, it's probably all the inefficient wooden houses. I would suggest building stone houses right from the beginning, so you don't have to have your farmer or your workers held up. And oh, wait a minute. Really? Ah, alright. So I've been playing on easy. which usually provides an animal right from the beginning. Apparently this one you have to trade for an animal. So that was a big waste. Alright. Alright, so I would hold off on the pasture. I should have just built the farm. Alright, that was a freaking waste. God damn it. Alright. I have to build a trading port. Then that costs like 20 something. Or no, I think it's like 800 per animal. So yeah, great. Alright. Nice. Alright guys. Well, I think that's it. We survived our first summer. We're getting into our second summer. Seems like we're just having trouble with the food. So I'm gonna put more people. And somebody died of starvation already. So yeah. And it kind of just continues happening like that. So very important. Get the food. Get the firewood. Build the homes. Keep them fed and warm, and you should do fine. That's our first winter. I'll make some more videos. I'm gonna grow this out a little bit, and then show you guys some more stuff that goes on in the game, some trading, stuff like that. So some crops. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the game. Please support it. Go buy it. It is on Steam, and you can buy it through the website. It's a fun game. I had a lot of fun with it. If you like this kind of gaming, you know, SimCity type stuff, I would definitely recommend it. It is a very fun game. Had a lot of fun with it. Good way to pass time, relax a little bit. So yeah, that's Banished. Thanks. If you liked the video, subscribe, like it, and come back for more. Alright, thank you. See you, bye.